helping you to weather good and bad economies without putting retirement on hold. This is the Tumolo Financial Podcast with Ken and Nick Tumolo. Ken and his son Nick know that creating a comprehensive financial plan can align your hard-earned life savings with your retirement goals. Consider them your retirement architects. Now, the Tumolo Financial Podcast with Ken and Nick Tumolo.
Interestingly enough, one of the people that we have looked to for decades as far as advice on our finances and what to do, Warren Buffett. He himself, guys, he has decided to retire. He's 95 years old, so he's earned it. The Oracle of Omaha has always stood by certain investment rules, though. 3 in particular that I wanted to ask you about, Ken. Number 1, he says research your stocks. Know what you are buying and hold them. Number 2, don't let emotions or politics guide your investment decisions. And number 3, above all, do not lose money. So what's your take on this, Ken? Does this investment style still hold up today, or are there modern ideas that we need to also be considering?
And it's always to an extent.
Yeah, sure.
And you might say, hey, well, Warren Buffett, when he started to make a bunch of money, it was a whole different era.
Yep.
Things were a little bit different. The United States wasn't as tied to international as far as companies and so forth.
Right.
I mean, my example, I'll tell you, is just like Coca-Cola stock. You might think, I'm investing in a U.S. company, but just think how much Coca-Cola is sold overseas. So you've got that international exposure right in a U.S. stock now, where you didn't way back. So yeah, now it's going to, I guess Warren Buffett, it's an example that eventually everyone retires.
Yep.
He just waited till 95.
Unbelievably, yeah.
Hopefully he'll do a few trips and do something different. But yeah, now I've read, as I was, growing up and entering this field and so forth, I've read multiple books about him, and it's interesting. It's like, they just paint him as this like normal guy, which, it's interesting. Yeah. Same house, driving the same station wagon. I mean, it's,
eats McDonald's every day for breakfast, I think. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it's so that's the thing though. It's just, he liked doing what he was doing.
Yep.
So, what I'm going to say is we've got, people we work with that just like doing what they're doing, and their retirement is actually still working, doing some of the things they used to do. Like, Warren Buffett, just investing in stocks and doing that research and everything that he does. It's obviously something that he loved. So doing that, it was like he was retired the whole time.
Yeah. Looking at even everything that Warren Buffett says, one thing that really stuck out to my mind was the emotions and politics. Don't let that distract you.
Now more than ever, right?
Now more than ever. I wish I could put that in our conference room.
Frame it, hanging above the doorway.
Frame for everyone. Yeah. Because, I mean, so most of our investment managers, and my dad will say the same thing, they do have certain points where there's an indication where it looks at what's going on in the market, what's going on in the economy, what's the trend, and they'll go less risky or they'll go more risky depending on the times. And if you let the computerized models do that rather than putting in the behavioral science down to it, then usually you end up ahead. Just because emotion, you usually just are looking at your biases and everything.
Right.
You look at what your friends and family say, you look at what you like to look at. And that's usually where people end up backwards or at a disadvantage. So
yeah, and I'll tell you, we met with someone, this was a while back, and remember 2008, how bad that was.
Yeah.
Market went down, was it 52 or 54? I forget the percentage, but it was a little over 50%. And so what they did was they panicked. And when they panicked, and they were only at that time about 35 years old, and they panicked, took all the money out of the market, and never brought it back in.
Okay, since 2008?
Yeah. So, and then they came in here, they came in here about a year and a half ago, and they're like, oh yeah, the market's doing great. We should be entering the market at this point. And I'm like, okay, well, what happened in between?
Right.
But, in his a couple. So what he didn't want is his wife to give away his secret. But basically they had lost about $250,000 and then keeping it in just like money market type investments in a 401k since then really never ever made it back. And but that's emotion. Think about it. That's the extreme.
Yeah.
So got really scared.
Yeah.
and decided, hey, I'm never going to invest in the market again. I'm just going to pile up money. And the problem with piling up money is inflation passes you by.
Right.
So you kind of need those stocks and those bonds that over time gain money to help fight inflation. And it's a hedge against inflation, if I want to call it that. I mean, that's probably the best way to put it. So one of the things I'm going to offer out is we do that Tumolo Financial Retirement Checkup, and we should really be looking at that whole picture. And just like Warren Buffett mentioned there, you want to take the emotion out of it. That's one of the biggest things we do. We always want to get our clients comfortable spending in retirement.
Yeah.
The only way to do that is start to work out the emotion piece of it. Our number, and we do this complimentary for listeners, 860-854-3434.
All right, Nick, let's continue this conversation about the idea of the benefits of planning. For folks that maybe already do have a financial plan in some way, shape, or form, that's great because you are amongst the few if you do. But you probably should be looking at it as a plan that may need to be adjusted because of retirement laws. They keep changing. I mean, Social Security, taxes, Medicare, it's a lot to keep up with. So how often do you meet with folks in the office to help them keep up with these kinds of changes?
Yeah, we meet at least every 6 months. We like to do 6 month reviews with our clients, and it's just to kind of catch those things. And plans change. It's not even just retirement laws where you're looking at. We know the tax code is going to change next year. We know Access Health is going to change next year too, possibly. I know expires at the end of this year. You just have a bunch of things that change. RMDs changed twice in the last 5 years. So laws and regulations do change a lot. And that's why you got to keep ahead of it. But I'll even bring up something else that changes too. You might have, I might want to go on a few trips the first few years. And then 4 or 5 years down the line, you might want to get a vacation home. You might want to get a new boat. So getting those things, having people come in every 6 months, you'll catch those things too.
Okay.
Because I'll even give you a perfect example. I actually had someone come in about 2 weeks ago, and he's been actually talking about doing this for the last year. They love their house, but he wants a screened-in porch in the back, and he's been kind of looking at what the pricing is, and he said now, because he wants it to be 4 seasons, he wants to put walls up too, and that costs a lot.
Yeah, it does.
So he got his first estimate back this past week, and it's going to be about $100,000.
Wow.
So planning for that and even talking to him now rather than, I already made the decision. I did this. I just took the money from here. Now we can look and say, okay, what advantages can we get from doing this?
Okay. How
do we take the money out so that it's not hurting you? And with him, a good thing is he has some bank money and some IRA tax deferred money. Mm-hmm. So playing with 2 different tax brackets on there and knowing that he still works, so he's already a higher tax bracket, how do we make it work? Okay. And this is what I'm saying. It's just a lot about that planning, about adjusting during the times, adjusting for those big things, whether it's those laws or whether it's doing the fun stuff for you. Yeah. I'm going to keep this positive.
Yeah.
But like for him, I know one of the things that I'm probably going to do is tell him, because for him, he's retiring next year.
Okay.
He's definitely sure of it. That's what his plan is. Yeah, I know that might change, but we might take a big chunk from the bank this year and maybe a little from the IRA. And then we might take a little extra from the IRA next year because he'll be in a lower tax bracket.
Yeah.
And this is, I just talked to him yesterday about this, so I haven't ran the plan yet. So this is not exactly what I would do in exact numbers.
But the wheels are turning. You're starting to think about how to put it together, right?
Yep. And I've done dozens of these too. I mean, I could give you multiple examples on this. And this is why I like doing the 6 month reviews. You catch what your client wants to do. What are they envisioning for their lifestyle? What are their goals and dreams? Maybe there's something that came up. Like I said, for him, he wants to now build in a porch rather than an in-screen porch, make it 4 seasons. So now we got to factor in, okay, that's going to cost a lot more now. Mm-hmm. Those things adjust. Or I had a client last year, she wanted to retire a few months from now. And that changed because I thought she was going to work for a few more years. So those adjustments do happen. People change. Health changes too, unfortunately, where you might get a health scare and be like, oh yeah, I want to retire now. And I've had that even happen. So those are the things that you want to catch in those 6 month reviews. That's why we like to do that rather than most advisors usually do the yearly review. Yeah. It's just catching those law changes, catching those client changes. And that's where we build out that Tumolo retirement checkup. For my clients, I'll build out in a scenario for him. It will be, one with doing the porch and one without, and show them the end result.
Got it.
And so that's where, when you're working with us, that's what you get. But before that, too, we do build it out complimentary to see what your plan looks like to start, whether you want to retire at 65, 70. Is there a big trip that you're planning for? Let's build that out complimentary, kind of go over the plan. Our phone number is 860-854-3434.
Investment advice offered through Tumolo Wealth Management, a Connecticut-registered investment advisor. Content contained herein should not be construed as an offer or solicitation for investment advice or for the purchase or sale of any security, insurance, or other investment product. Please consult with a qualified financial, tax, accounting, or legal professional before implementing any ideas or strategies discussed here.